Hello. You may have seen an Air Mowabb review on this channel already, but like I expressed in that previous video, I wasn't able to get those in my size. I haven't been able to get a pair of these shoes in my size. Of course, I got the wife's size, and she enjoys them. And even though it was my favorite colorway, being that dark olive, I had to sit back and refuse to pay the resale. I'm not gonna pay the crazy resale. I'm gonna keep the faith. And finally, it happened. I now have a pair in my size. Not in my favorite colorway per se, but a colorway that I was a bit surprised and taken back by. I actually really do like this colorway. And now I can give you guys a real in-depth review with an on foot, all of the details, and I even put it through its paces on that treadmill back there because I am curious to know if this ACG branded sneaker is really up to the task of being an actual hiking shoe. Because there are some elements of it that don't really necessarily speak to hiking. So if that sounds good, we're gonna get into all of that. Today we are talking about the Nike Air Mowabb in the Trail Ends Brown colorway. Before we get into it, let's first take a closer look. All right, guys, welcome back. And now that you've seen a closer look of these bad boys right here, welcome. My name is Steve. Thank you for joining us. If you are new here, we talk sneakers and apparel and more stuff as things go along. But this is most definitely a sneaker channel first. So if that sounds good to you, consider joining the fam because we're on the road to 10,000 subscribers and I want you guys to be a part of it. Your likes, comments, subscription, engagements, all that is what makes a sneaker channel great. It's not me, it's you. I appreciate each and every last one of you. Also, helpful links down in the description below. Protective shoe spray and cleaning kits to keep your kicks clean. My favorite sneaker books as well as links to cop these bad boys right here. I will have the eBay links for the colorways that are sold out retail wise. There are still a lot of sizes left in these at retail. So I don't know what that necessarily means for this colorway because I think this colorway looks dope. I don't think there's really a reason for these not to be sold out. Maybe we just hit the saturation point and now those of us who don't like paying stupid resale prices can get our hands on a pair. So let's talk about these right here. These are the Nike Air Mowabbs. They are a re-release of a shoe that was designed by Nike's prolific shoe designer, Tinker Hatfield, back in the 90s. It was designed for hiking. What I love though is you can see so much of Tinker Hatfield's design aesthetic in this shoe. I think immediately things that jump out to me are Jordan brand and then of course Air Huarache, right? Naturally, Tinker Hatfield is known more for his Jordan designs because of course they are just like world renowned and iconic, but he also did design the original Air Huarache. So it's cool that, especially during that time, Nike really wove the DNA of Air Huaraches into a lot of different shoes, from running shoes to basketball shoes and on and on. This one is no different. So immediately the first thing you see is you don't see an ACG tag at the front of the sneaker, you see Air Huarache by Nike. That's pretty dope and kind of unexpected in a lot of ways. You do get ACG branding up here though, and I think that looks really good. I really like the contrast of this orange with the purple, beautiful, cool aesthetic there, and looks really cool when you think of it in terms of like a hiking aesthetic as well, especially contrasting with all of the earth tones and the blacks and browns happening down here. I really like the way this colorway came together. There have been some other Air Mowabb models that have incorporated the purple as well. I think that kind of primed me for liking this one, but as you can see here, it works and it looks really good. So there is the Air Huarache DNA in this sneaker, most notably up here in the top of the upper here. It's not quite that detached inner sock to the extent that an actual Air Huarache is. It's more or less just around the ankle here because it does connect to the shoe here, whereas in other models it will actually keep going down and connect later. But that makes sense as this sneaker should be more weatherproof than say a regular running sneaker, right? The other element is of course around the back here, around the heel counter, you got this rubber tab, this plastic pieces here. This is all directly pulled from the Air Huaraches as well, because of course this piece especially was inspired by the traditional Mexican sandal. So that's where you got this piece coming from. And these two things here are dominantly where the Air Huarache DNA begins and ends. And then the rest of the upper here, to me, this screams Jordan 6. That's what I see. That the Jordan 6s would have that 23 cutout happening with the overlays. This is not quite that, of course, but it's very similar. And that's what it makes me me think of. So all through here, I think Jordan 6, again, Tinker Hatfield. This is right all in his wheelhouse. And then they infused it with a much more rugged feeling midsole and outsole. And I love, of course, the more hits of purple you got down here. If you can see, it's a little bit dirty because I have been putting it through its paces a little bit. And this is definitely a different platform than what you get in a lot of sneakers today. It's not going to be your foamy, squishy, air bubble filled outsole and midsole like we might be accustomed to at this point, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. My question was, though, for a sneaker that was designed by a guy who's primarily more known for his basketball and maybe running sneakers, is this one more or less a legit hiker, especially because it's older now, right? And sometimes the older technology holds up very well, as we've seen with Nike Air. Other times, maybe not. Is this thing comfortable? Well, it's no more than maybe 10 degrees outside here in Michigan at the moment, so I wasn't about to take these out for a hike today, but as the weather warms up incrementally, like if we get to the 20s, I'm going to take them out and we're going to do an outdoor review, believe me. But I wanted to do a little bit of an experiment while I could. So back there on the treadmill, what I did was a 20-minute hike. I did it at 6.0 to 8.0 in terms of incline, and I did it at 4 miles an hour. So it was a pretty intense uphill walk for 20 minutes straight, no breaks, no nothing. And I thought that these were pretty comfortable. Important to keep in mind too, I did that hike right out of the box, no breaking in period. And I gotta tell you, I was pretty impressed. Now, immediately what you'll notice in putting on the shoe for the first time is, like I said, the platform is not going to have much give to it. It's definitely more of a stable platform. So when you're lacing this thing up for comfort and to do something like a hike, you want to take advantage of everything it gives you. And what I mean by that is in the lacing system. So you can see it's a traditional looking lacing system, but what's kind of cool is that it gives you 2 sets of eyelets, and you can see eyelets that are lower here on both sides. So maybe if your foot sits a little bit lower than other people, you're just not quite getting that lockdown feel, you can relace down here to get yourself a more snug fit. And then of course there's the double eyelets up here. If you'll see the way I have it laced, let me see if I can get that focus there for you. This is the heel lock part, which I did not learn until recently, but you absolutely want to take advantage of that lacing style as well. That really locked my foot in and it felt comfortable. So I have a little bit of a wider, flatter foot and it felt great on these. And I was a little bit off put again by it being a little bit stiffer than I had anticipated. Of course, I've been wearing the ACG Gore-Tex Mountain Flies for a while, and those are anything but stiff underneath, so it was a bit of a contrast. But what I found after doing a hard 20 minutes uphill at a pretty brisk pace, these held up and I felt pretty good. Again, right out of the box, no breaking in period. My feet were not in pain after wearing these during that. So to me, I know it's not the same as walking over branches and rocks and all of that, but I gotta say for the first impression, it performed very well and I was very pleased with the way it felt, and I was very pleased with the way I felt afterwards. I felt like I could have kept going, really. In terms of materials, it's mostly all nubucks. You get some nylon, some cottons, and it really does feel very solid. It's not like a heavier shoe. It's not gonna protect you from, say, like a falling rock hitting the top of your shoe, but it is going to keep you dry and warm for the most part. I wore these with some nice tall crew socks. My feet were pretty toasty, so I don't think you have to worry about that too much. I think it's probably waterproof to a point. I can't imagine it's going to be like a full waterproof sneaker. The Gore-Tex Mountain Flies are definitely going to be more waterproof in that regard, and some other hiking sneakers with more modern material technologies will probably be better as well. But I think this is going to get the job done as long as you're not slogging through like a frozen tundra, I guess. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be pretty comfortable, especially during your warmer weather, summertime, springtime hikes. This is going to be a great shoe, not to mention a very stylish shoe to do the hike in, because as much as I like the Gorp kind of aesthetic or the technical aesthetic, a lot of the shoe wear can leave a little bit to be desired. That's why we kind of look to Nike to make dope things, right? This just looks good. It looks better than most hiking shoes out there. And thankfully, I can say for the time being that it actually does the job in terms of performance. So we'll see as time goes on. And like I said, I'm going to have an outdoor performance review for you as well. I think I'm going to pit them up against the Gore-Tex Mountain Flies to see which one I like better, because the feel on both those sneakers is just so different. So stay tuned for that. In terms of sizing and fit, I went with my true size. So whatever you go with your Jordan 1s, your Air Force 1s, that's what I went with, and they feel great. They fit nice and perfectly. Of course, tightening them down, locking it in with the lacing system made it even better. I don't feel like they were too snug or too loose. So go with your true size. I think you'll be very pleased. And that does it for me, guys, on this video of the Nike Air Mowabb in this Trail Ends brown colorway. I really like this colorway, and thankfully it's not going crazy on the resale. You can find a lot of sizes still available at retail, so I definitely recommend you get your hands on it. Let me know what you think about them down in the comments below, and of course, if you've made it this far and you haven't already, consider joining the fam. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Your likes, comments, subscription, engagement, all that is what makes the sneaker channel great. It's not me, it's you. I appreciate each and every last one of you. Of course, helpful links down in the description below, protective shoe spray, cleaning kits to keep your kicks clean, my favorite sneaker books, as well as links to cop these bad boys down there. And with all that being said, guys, hope you have a good day, good evening, good night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.